Hello, welcome back to Unprofessional Therapy, where we're just two old guys, Gen Xers, who don't have degrees, just decades of experience. And we're here to talk about whatever we want to talk about. And we invite you to talk to us too. But I just want you guys to know that even though we're unprofessional, me, I'm always right.
You wanted me to do a spit take, right?
My name is Brad.
I'm Michael, and I have something to say about that.
Do you? But I'm right.
I do. But what else did you want to talk about? It seemed like you had maybe two topics to talk about this time, away from our emergency
I don't know
session.
what I want to talk about.
You don't know?
So
All
I
right.
want to talk about the good support system.
Okay. Fair enough. That seems appropriate after our emergency session. I don't know where that's going to fall in the.
It's going to fall right before this one. I already.
All right,
We're gonna. So
there
we're
we
good.
go. We're on to. And as far as you always being right, today's topic for me is don't waste your time always being right. And it doesn't necessarily. So this would fall into if I were to dispute that fact loudly and quite correctly that you are not always right. Why would I waste time with that? I bring this up because I notice with myself and with other people, you can spend and you can waste a lot of time and energy trying to get your point across and to be right, to be heard. And it comes down to also being heard. I think that's what the case is. Do you have anything to add to this before I go further?
Well, being heard, I think you just nailed it. Talking about the taboo topics of politics and religion. Everybody's right, but nobody's right. and you want, but you're like, this is how I feel. This is my opinion. Yes, and you are entitled to your opinion, but you may not be right. And for you to argue, but you want to be heard.
Yeah, it really does come down to a fact that you want to be heard, or maybe you want your point to be understood. And I think I'm going to say, kind of as a blessing, I am getting further along with the idea that if you want to believe that, fine. And not necessarily religion, not necessarily politics, but in anything, I got to let go trying to shape other people's opinions or,
convince them that you're right.
Yeah. Convince them, or to convince them that they're wrong, or to waste the time and effort and energy on subjects or discussions that aren't going to go anywhere. If you want to say 1 + 1 = 5, I need to say, okay, no, you go ahead, live your life that way. That's okay. There's nothing I'm going to do that's going to change that. So why am I going to spend the time and energy and effort and emotion on trying to convince you that that's wrong?
Well, I think you used a bad example. Because facts are facts. 1 + 1 is 2. There is no right or wrong. There's no. Well, there is a right or wrong, but it's very cut and dry. 1 + 1 is 2. Now, let's take it further for a second. The flat earthers. Okay. So now with the one, first of all, with the 1 + 1 is 2, we first go to the point of, please count. 1, 2, 3. Okay, can we agree that those are the numbers in the proper sequence? Yes. Okay, so when I have 1. Okay, I have another one.
That's 11.
How many is that?
I'm looking at 11 right now. I see 2, 1, 1, and 1 is 11. So it's not even 5, it's 11. So everybody was wrong. See what I mean?
I do.
You're proving my point.
You're being a butthead.
You're exactly.
And at that point, yes, I'm right. You're right. I'm just going to stop arguing because you're too dumb to realize what we're saying. Anyway, or you're just being a jerk and wanting to make a point. I understand what you're saying. But let's go to the flat earthers for a second. Okay, it is common knowledge, apparently not so common, that the earth is not flat. It's not perfectly round. It's a potato, whatever you want to call it. It's a sphere. It's a oblong,
It's
whatever.
more of an egg shape than anything, I think.
Yeah,
because
it's more of an egg shape. That was the word I was looking for. But flat earthers will, and they'll try to use science. And if you look at their science is not right. It's like it's a proven fact that the Earth is round. But anyway, going on, these are the things that you don't sit and argue that point, because you're not going to change their mind. The only person that's going to change their mind is them or someone in their circle that realizes they're wrong. And that has happened there was a big guy that was like big flat earther guy. And one of the arguments they have is that Antarctica, if the Earth is round, I can go to Antarctica and see the sun for 24 hours. So the guy went down to Antarctica and recorded the sun for 24 hours straight. And he realized he was wrong, that the Earth is round. Now,
that's a good example.
People then called him a traitor. So you can't, and your point is, you have to just say, all right, wash your hands of it.
I think my point also, or extending on that, is why are you going to waste your time and energy trying to convince somebody of something that they can't? Like, you need to not be right all the time for you. You need to not point out they're wrong all the time.
Yeah.
Just walk away or put your energy elsewhere. If you do want to debate the point, talk about the fact that eclipses would be, you'd see a straight line across the moon if the Earth was indeed flat. And it's interesting that they will accept that every other planet out there is round and spherical, but the Earth is flat. That doesn't make sense.
We're a pizza.
Yeah, exactly.
And now we got to be careful, because we might have a little thing on the bottom where it says flat Earth. Da, 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 da. Anyway,
trigger warning.
Trigger warning. Who knows? Maybe that'll get us some views.
Maybe.
So, and you made a good point. A debate is a good idea. A healthy debate is a good idea. An argument goes nowhere.
No.
And both parties have to be willing to actually debate and open their mind to the other person's point of view.
Yeah.
You may not change their mind, but you may open their mind.
Yeah. And generally that, maybe I'm cynical, but I was going to say, generally, I don't think that happens in real life or happens outside of your immediate group of friends. I think that usually if you come across somebody in the street, and again, maybe I'm just being cynical, I don't think people are up for discussion. I don't think a lot of people believe in self-examination, and I don't believe that people necessarily are in a place where they're willing to debate things. We've talked about this on other subjects.
Yes.
that the world is structured in a way that everybody is in their own echo chamber, and unless they try to reach out or break out of that, it just doesn't happen. I don't think.
Yeah. Now, here's and to give you an example, and I'm going to talk politics.
Don't do it. You're going to stick your toe in there.
He's a good example.
Okay.
Pete Buttigieg. Pete, I'm sorry if you're watching and I missed your name, but dude, I love you. You're great. He goes to where he's the minority. He's a Democrat, and he goes to the red states, and he talks to people who are blue in the red state and gets them going. And he will talk to people who are red. He will go on to all the red medias, and he made a very good point about how he does this, because he's wonderful. If you watch him, he's really good at just listening to you and addressing what you're saying. He's very good about that. And I watched him go in and talk to people that were just hardcore MAGAs, and he listened to him, and he said, he just handled them well. And how he does that, he says he looks at everybody as if they were a very good friend of his, and he talks to them as if they were a very good friend and that he respects them. And I'm like, wow, if only everybody did that.
What a wonderful way of
Yeah.
looking at things. What a wonderful way of going about things. It's funny because it taps into another topic that we'll have to go into in the future about books and so on, because
the books,
yeah, but we'll save that for another time. That'll give people
yeah.
something to look forward to.
I think that, I don't know. I admire the way he is able to communicate calmly, respectfully, and all of that with anybody. You know, I see him go into town halls in where was it? Big red state. Like, oh shoot, Oklahoma.
Oh,
I mean, just and there was it was, you know, for Oklahoma, it felt like a big crowd for blue people,
right.
and it was a very pumped up, but it did show that there are those people do exist in Oklahoma.
So were they? What is his goal with this? Opening people's minds, just getting the dialogue started, or is he trying to sway people?
He
what's
wants
your
the dialogue
perception
started.
of it?
He wants people to understand that. I'm trying not to go down the politic road. He wants people to understand it's not us versus them.
There
you know, he's trying to get people to understand that you can be red and have thoughts of blue, and you can be blue and have thoughts of red. You know, they're talking, you know, left of center, right of center. They're not talking hard, you know, far right and far left. He's trying to get the center people, and most center people like you and I know this, but sometimes you just need to keep hearing it. Because again, you're in your echo chamber, and all you hear is your stuff. And he's trying to get people away from the us versus them. And if he runs for president, he's got my vote. End of story. Just because of the way he communicates.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think the best example that I've had of that in social studies class a long time ago was our instructor went down a list of, say, 10 questions or whatever and asked people to put yes or no on these or whatever. And then afterwards is when he said, now, look at your answers here, and are your answers a solid 10 yeses or a solid 10 no's? And then he said, you know, this would be on the right, this would be on the left. The reality was there was a good mixture, at least for the majority of the class, there was a good mixture of everything in there. And I think people are, you're right, we don't want to go down the political road, but I'm just going to say that, you know, in reality, there's grays. Nothing is really black and white. There are a lot of grays.
There's that wiggle room.
There's that.
Yeah. It's like you could be hardline on 1 and 1 is 2. Fine.
Yeah.
You could be hardline on 1 and 1 is 11. You're just wrong.
Nope. I'm not gonna convince you otherwise. So I'm not gonna waste my time.
Exactly. And if you're dumb enough to believe it's 11, I'm just gonna let you live on.
I guess. Yeah. Exactly. And so that's really my point, is the fact that if you find yourself in that headspace, or you find yourself going down that road or getting emotionally charged, take a second, a little bit of self-reflection, and just say, what argument am I trying to win? What am I trying to change by stating this opinion, short of it doing harm to somebody? And you might think that harm, that leaves a little bit open for interpretation. But when somebody says something that you know is entirely wrong, don't waste your time with that. Move on to something else. Find a good book to read, or, you know, maybe watch this. You know, go to YouTube,
watch our videos, like over and over, and share it with a bunch of people.
Exactly. Watch Unprofessional Therapy.
Unprofessional Therapy. I think that's her name.
That is it. And it is no degrees, only decades. So that's what you need to do. Share that with somebody.
Because we are so knowledgeable on everything.
And we're so right on so many subjects. So
yeah.
Oh, anyhow, what else did you have? You had something else that you wanted to talk about.
Good support system.
What? I was going to say, what is that like? And that would just blow up everything we talked about here. But
my butt. I'm thinking I might be part of yours, so, you know, bite me.
Indeed.
And I would like to say, I don't know.
Oh, no. You don't know what a good support system is.
No.
That's horrible. Oh. Well, let's talk about that and how might you
Yeah.
build one and where might you find it?
Oh,
Because
see, and that's the hard part, you know. And I because I've been thinking about it because as a young person,
Mhm,
who do you trust with your deepest, darkest, thoughts? Some people have some pretty dark thoughts.
sure.
Who can you trust
Whew.
with that kind of information? Because there are not nice people who will manipulate you, who will use
Hmm.
that information against you,
I'm
and
going
you
all
don't.
over the places I listen to you.
And they are, and that it's just so it's so hard to find that. It's like, and the only way you build that trust is how
So
and time.
time is absolutely one thing. I think, and it's a hard row to hoe here.
Yeah.
The So I've got two things to say about that. One
Mhm.
and number, well, they're both kind of the same. Number one is you have to open yourself up and just trust. I'm going to say or give the example that we had a visit from some friends around here. We had somebody come to visit my mother-in-law. Um, there were certain commonalities that we knew existed, but we had never met these folks. My wife and I had never met them in person before.
Mhm.
Turns out we had a ton in common, and we were able to talk to them in a very open manner. They shared things with us, we shared things with them. It was very open and cathartic, and it was great. And this came on the heels of my emergency session,
Yeah.
so
That's
that
good.
helped too. Very important what you're saying. I think this is a tough one because you brought up the idea of how do you do that when you're younger. I think when you're older, you get to a point where things don't matter. This kind of ties into what we were saying earlier about let people
Right.
be wrong. But I also feel like opening up, you do want to be selective with what you share with people.
Yeah.
But
You
I
have to do
also
it.
think about game theory
Yeah.
and tit for tat and so on. How
It's it's a
how do I
balancing act.
explain that?
Yeah,
That
it's a balancing act, and because you have to. It's kind of like finding your true love. You have to open yourself up and get hurt.
right, right.
And
I
for
would
the
argue you
very
also
few
have
people
to.
who are lucky to find their true love in the beginning,
Sure,
wonderful. But
sure.
as far as and that person also is part of your support system, so it's a similar. There's a lot of similarities there. You have to find somebody whom you can really trust
Yeah.
because if you to give you an example, it's hard for me to trust people. But I've trusted a lot of people and I've had my heart broken. I've had disappointments, all of that stuff, just like
Mm.
everybody else. To It's amazing the amount of trust I have with my wife. I have never ever handed a person my phone with my password. I do it with her all the time from
Just
day one,
wow.
and she's never abused any of that.
What made you feel that you could trust her? Did you trust yourself first? Were you in a good place, or did you feel
Yeah,
like you opened up first?
I think I was in a good place. Now before I actually, in person met her, we had been talking for a couple of months.
Hmm.
So, and then when we first met, we went to Phuket. We had 2-week vacation, and it wasn't immediate. I didn't hand her my phone then, but
Right,
I didn't. She could look at, I have nothing to hide is really the biggest thing on my
right,
phone. I don't
right.
have anything on there I basically don't have anything to hide. So, and it's not like I had to go through my phone and delete all this stuff.
There's still a
There was
certain
nothing in
amount
there
of trust,
embarrassing. There was nothing in there to worry about,
but
you
there's
know?
still a certain amount of trust with giving. I get that.
Yes.
My thought though about the game theory was the
Yeah.
fact though that the games that work the best, and I should find the actual example if I can, but just to generalize it was the fact that people generally aren't necessarily out to get you. Even if people make selfish actions, they're not necessarily out to get you. This one rewarded you for lying to a person. or cooperating, you got different amount of points or whatever. So this experiment was run a few times. The best examples of the games that worked with it scored the highest points was a system that included forgiveness, and it didn't take things personally. And I think that is very hard to find, but in many business dealings that I've had to deal with recently, and so on, it's best if you understand that people aren't necessarily out to get you, that paranoia doesn't have to be there. So if you can set that aside and forgive people a little bit more, you're going to find that you're going to be better off in the long run. I don't know if that makes sense. Short of having
it does. And in my humble opinion, in the US, you have to have that in the back of your head. You have to have that little voice in the back of your head to say, be careful. In countries like Denmark, Sweden, Thailand, you don't need that voice in the back of your head as much, because people here, I would say a very high majority of people here are exactly what you just said. They're not out to get you. They couldn't care less.
Right.
They have their own life.
Right.
And now there are people around, not in maybe as much in Thailand, but in other Western countries, where they enjoy causing havoc. It is a minority of the population. It's not. Right. It's probably like, I would guess, less than 5%. Hopefully down to 1%. But this is a number literally coming out of my head, so don't quote me. But they're sociopaths. They don't care.
Sure.
They enjoy,
or they're looking to exploit.
Yeah, they look to exploit. And they exist, and you have to always have that in the back of your head that they do exist, and you could run across one. Yeah. So, but your point is, most of the time, 95% of the time, you're fine. They're not out to get you. They're not there to jerk you over. When I was moving here, I had to sell all my stuff. There was a specific, really expensive item that I had that was for video creation. All kinds of stuff for video. Yeah. And it was a kit that I had built up that was really good for wireless. So there's this guy that wanted to buy this kit because I had built this really nice kit up and of really expensive gear. It's like it was the top line of gear. And I had a few people, I'll give you $600 for that. It was worth $2,000. Okay. And I had a number. I mean, I was actually bidding it out there like $1,250. So, but it was worth $2,000. And people are lowballing me at $600. Those are the people you steer clear of. But then a guy comes up to me, or a guy sends me a message. He says, "I'll give you," or he says, "What's your best price?" I said $1,250. He goes, "Okay." He paid my price, and when he came, he looked at it. He goes, and he's like you and me. He's a you and me kind of guy, and he's like, "Well, I know you're moving," because I told people, in the posting, I'm moving out. That's why people were lowballing me, and he goes, "But I also know the quality of this equipment, and I know that this is a damn good deal, and I want that deal." And he waited till I was near the end of it because he wanted to see if I was going to stick to that price, and he did see that, and he had no problem paying it. Now, see, there's the people out there though that a lot of the things I was selling, they were just lowballing me, and it was just, as you know, Facebook Marketplace. It was so frustrating. It's like, people, I'm trying to, fund my move to the other side of the world. I'm not really fund it. I'm trying to add funds because I already could fund. I was already funding it. This is just going to make my life a little easier. But hey, why don't we screw that guy over?
Well, I think in general too, it also applies to simpler things like returning phone calls and emails and things like that. A lot of times people are busy. They're not deliberately ignoring you. You just might not.
About this,
we may not be a priority because of other things that are going on. So anyhow, our initial thing was building support systems and stuff.
Yeah, how you how you find these people by all of these means.
Exactly. Put
Now,
yourself out there.
what do you do with a good support system?
Oh man, use the heck out of it.
Don't know yet.
Use it, but don't abuse it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, tit for tat is what it is.
For sure.
The real answer is tit for tat. If someone, and I think we're the perfect example of this, because we're not professional therapists.
We're not professional. What?
We're not. And yeah, we try.
We just have lots of experience, you'd say.
Yeah, we don't have a degree, just
Decades. That's right.
But we help each other. You know, when you have an emergency, I'm like, what do you need? You know, and when I have an emergency, you're like, I'll call you back in a month.
Yeah.
But no, we help each
and
other.
again, it's nothing personal. I just happen to be busy. I'm doing Minecraft
Right.
or whatever.
Well,
Kidding. I don't play Minecraft. Anyhow.
I think I played that game once. Anyway, and I think that's the biggest thing, is not only find people you can trust, but be a person people can trust. Be what you're looking for. You know, and what's that saying? Be the part of the world. Build the world. And how's that say? What's that saying?
I don't know. I'm thinking be the change that you want to see in the world, though.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
Okay.
I'm old. I forget words.
Another interesting thing that I saw recently talked about the fact that the flaws that you hate or despise or don't like in other people tend to be a reflection of what you have. So, so I think by putting things out there and by being there for somebody else to help them with their thing, you're going to help fix things in you.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like even with us, I see, and here's another thing about it, I guess. I know how to help you. I know what you could do to do things, and I've told you, but you don't do them.
Yeah, exactly.
I stop telling you certain things.
See, it all comes full circle.
Yeah. You do. You tell me what to do, and I ignore you. You know, but the point is, you hear me. You take it into consideration, and it's up to you to make the decision.
That's right.
You still listen to me, and sometimes you do what I ask, or what I recommend.
Occasionally,
Yeah,
you might.
Let's see. I'd say it's a good 50-50.
Yeah, sure.
On both sides. I mean, I'll ignore things. I'll take it into consideration.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a far cry better than the 0 or 5% that you get from somebody else too.
Exactly.
So having that support system,
be like you want. You know, treat people like the golden rule.
Yeah.
You know, treat people like you want to be treated.
For sure.
And that's how you build a good support system.
Yeah.
Time.
I think that also, though, as you get older, it can be more difficult to put yourself out there.
Yes.
So that can be a challenge. I'm not sure where you would go to meet people, new people.
No, I was thinking about that myself a few days ago. It's like, I would like to meet some more people, but I need to learn a new language. I am slowly learning, but I'm not remotely conversational.
Right.
And to meet people around here.
Right.
How do I meet someone on the internet? You know, that's just, I don't trust anybody on the internet. But I had a guy contact me through my Discord server, and he was like, he got to the point where he's like, how much money you make? I'm like, it's none of your business.
Click.
Well, and the thing was, he's doing that in a public chat, like a general chat on my cut, and you can see the chat because you have access to that.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm just like, I ignored the question. I'm like, I'm not gonna, you know. He's like, he had asked how much I made a while ago. I said I was probably low 6 figures back then. He goes, oh wow. I'm like,
that was back then.
And a very strange person, or you're trying to sell me something, maybe.
Exactly. I don't know. Maybe that's something we need to address in a future episode. Is how to build a support system. I'm gonna say initially, look to your past, look to people that you've talked to that you have some shared common ground with. But at any rate, I'm gonna say
let's leave that up for the comments.
Yes.
Let's leave that up. If you want us to make a video on how to actually build a support system, we'll
Yeah.
do some research.
We'll do a little bit of research and get
And
back.
by we, I mean Mike.
Yeah, exactly. And by Mike, I mean ChatGPT. No, we'll talk about how well it's a tool, right? We'd already covered that.
We talked about it. It's a tool. It's not going to give you the answer. It's going to give you direction.
It isn't. It isn't. So you got to ask the right question. But anyhow,
Mhm.
I'm going to say thanks for watching, and I'll leave it to you then to go with the outro.
Oh my God. So we've been on professional therapy where it's not, we don't have a degree, just decades of experience.
That's right.
And like, share, do all the YouTube stuff, but most important, share the video and leave a comment letting us know if you want what topics you'd like us to talk about. Thank you very
Absolutely.
much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.